Welcome to part 2 of how I built this custom gaming PC to run in my indoor golf simulator setup. In the first video, I showed you how to go about building the computer, installing all the components. That was a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed it. It was cool to kind of see it all come to life and build it up. But unfortunately, in this video, this is where the boring part happens. I know it's not anything fun. You're not seeing anything come to life other than just doing a bunch of different installs. I'll show you how to install Windows, update the BIOS, all that boring techie stuff. But I made it so you can follow along and makes it really easy on you to go about doing it. If you bought all the same components I bought, you can follow this video right along to the T. But if you kind of changed out some of the components and went with some other options or different manufacturers, there may be some things that may not apply to you through this video or maybe slightly different processes. So keep that in mind. I can say that, once you get it all done, I've been running this thing for a month now. It eats up any golf simulator software I've thrown at it. I'm getting full, 60 frames per second, which is what my 4K projector is capable of, but I can even go beyond that when I'm running it on a monitor. So this thing is definitely doing what it's supposed to do and what I was hoping it was going to do. I also really love the look of it. For the monitor, I actually decided to go with a Samsung smart monitor. I am really happy I went that route. It actually has its own built-in app, so I can watch YouTube TV on here or stream different platforms on here while I'm using the golf simulator without taxing the PC. It looks really good. It works great as a desktop monitor. And again, also just being able to have golf on in the background and not use any additional memory from my actual PC and have its own designated remote is really helpful. So I will have links to that down below. I was also a little hesitant at first because I really liked my laptop just being a very small footprint, and I just couldn't imagine having a big desktop PC in here. I thought maybe I have to stash it away, but as good as it looks, I actually went with this mounting system, which is just like a pipe shelf. I'll put links to that down below as well. And it kind of just floats off of the ground. I have an outlet installed right behind it. So I really, really like how this turned out. And I'm really glad I did it. Again, the white monitor and white keyboard, it just kind of matches that whole golf theme vibe that I'm going with. So glad I went that route. So follow me along in this video as I show you how to finalize setting up your PC and optimizing it and doing all those little tidbits that you have to do when you're done building your PC. This took me a really, really long time just with all the different filmings and the voiceovers and just making sure I'm explaining it in a way that makes it easier on you. So if you can show your love by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, I would really appreciate it. So let's get into this video and thank you guys for watching. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is grab a USB thumb drive and hook it up to a computer that is obviously already functioning. You don't need anything special with the thumb drive. I'll put a link to a cheap one that I use down below. And you're going to want to go to the thumb drive in your computer and right click and hit format. You want to make sure that it is formatted as a FAT32 for the file system. You can name it whatever you want and then just hit start and OK. This is going to reformat it and wipe anything off of it that doesn't need to be on there. This is what we need to do for a fresh Windows install. You can then open up a internet browser and you're going to want to Google download Windows 11. Once you do that, it's going to take you to Windows 11's download page, and we can just go ahead and click on that, and this is where we'll install Windows. You're going to see a few options here. You're going to want to pick the one that says create Windows 11 installation media. This is since we are downloading it onto a thumb drive for a new PC. Once you have it downloaded, just head to your downloads folder and you're going to double click on that file. Once you're brought to this screen, you're going to go ahead and just hit accept. And then on the next screen, you're going to want to uncheck the use the recommended options for this PC, as this is for a new build. You'll make sure USB flash drive is selected and hit next, and it should default to the USB thumb drive. If not, just make sure you're selecting that, as that's what you want to download it onto. Once that's done downloading, you can hit finish and then just head over to your USB thumb drive and you should see all the files now installed on it. Now that you have the files for Windows 11, we can head over to Google and you want to download the latest BIOS for your specific motherboard. In my case, I went with the Asus ROG Strix Z790A Wi-Fi 2. So you're just going to want to head over to Asus's website where you can make sure that you are downloading the BIOS for your exact motherboard. You can hit the support tab and then from there you want to select driver and utility. Now you want to select BIOS and firmware from the two options underneath drivers and tools. And then at the very top, you should see the latest BIOS for your specific motherboard. Go ahead and just download that. And then just head over to your download folder and you should see the ASUS zip file. Just right click on that and you want to hit extract all. We want to make sure that we're extracting to our USB thumb drive, so just hit the little browse icon, scroll down and select your thumb drive and then hit select folder and then extract. Now just head over to your USB thumb drive and verify that that BIOS is on it. Now the last thing we need is the Wi-Fi driver for our motherboard. Now you're going to head back to ASUS's website and select driver and tools, and then you're going to select your operating system. In my case, Windows 11 64-bit, and it's going to pull up all the drivers available for your motherboard. You're going to want to download the wireless one. This is just a precaution in case that driver isn't on your motherboard, which is a problem I ran into. Once that's finished downloading, just drag that entire zip file over to your USB thumb drive. Now we want to right click on the USB thumb drive and hit eject. This will make it so it's safe to remove. Once you get the safe to remove message, go ahead and remove it from your computer and put it in a USB port on the back of your new PC. You also want to connect a keyboard and mouse via USB if you haven't done so already, and grab the supplied Wi-Fi antenna from your motherboard and connect that to the back as well. Now from your new PC's boot screen, you're going to want to press F1 to boot into the BIOS. Now that you're in the BIOS, you're going to see the current BIOS version that your motherboard has installed. You're going to want to head to the bottom right corner of the BIOS or press F7 to enter advanced mode. Then select Tool from the list of options above, and then from there you're going to want to click on ASUS Easy Flash 3 utility. It'll bring up the files located on your USB thumb drive, and you're going to want to select the BIOS from the list of options and click on that. Then when you see this prompt, go ahead and select yes, and then also yes for do you want to really update your BIOS. Once it's finished downloading, you're going to get the updated successfully message and you can go ahead and hit OK. Now just let it run its course. You may see your screen flicker a few times. It takes a few minutes to get through the process, but just make sure not to unplug or shut it off until it boots back to the boot screen. The reason we're updating the BIOS ahead of time is because when motherboards ship, we don't know which BIOS is on there, and it's just good practice to make sure you have the latest BIOS installed before you move forward with installing Windows. Once it's complete, you'll be brought back to the boot screen where you should see at the very top the new BIOS version installed, and we can go ahead and hit F1 to go back into the BIOS screen. Now we can see the new BIOS version under the information portion, and we can go ahead and just hit save and exit or press F10, which will reboot your PC, and it should automatically load the Windows installer. Now go ahead and just select your desired preferences and then hit next, and then you want to hit install now. Now the first thing it's going to ask you is for your Windows product key. You can get product keys from basically anywhere, and they're like $20 online. I'll leave a link down below for one that you can purchase, so you can enter this now if you have it. If not, it's not necessary to have right now, so you can just hit I don't have a product key to move forward with the install. Now it's going to ask you which Windows 11 version you want. I just selected Home for now. This is something you can change and switch to Pro after the fact if you want, so just go ahead and select Home or Pro for now and hit Next. And then you'll be presented with these two options. You're going to want to select the Custom option, as this is a brand new build and we're not moving anything over. Now it's going to ask which hard drive you want to install Windows on. I only put in the one SSD storage, that M.2 card from the build video, so I'm just going to select that one and hit next. It's going to run through the Windows install process and then reboot your computer to the Windows screen. From here you're going to want to select your preferences. The first thing you're going to want to pick is your region and hit next. And then from there you're going to select your keyboard layouts, any settings. These will all kind of apply to what you want to do. But when you're brought to the screen where you connect to your network, this is the issue I had as to where the Wi-Fi driver wasn't installed, so there was no network to connect to. Obviously, if you see your network, connect to your Wi-Fi network, and then you can move forward. But if not, then you're going to have to follow these steps. You're going to want to press Shift plus F10 together at the same time. It'll load up this command screen, and in this section, you're going to want to type in OOBE/bypass NRO and hit Enter. This is basically going to allow us to bypass the network screen without having a network to select. Your PC will automatically reboot to this screen here where you're going to hit next. It's going to bring you back to the screen where we have to select our location and our keyboard preferences. Go ahead and just fill those all out to what applies to you and hit next till you get back to the Wi-Fi screen. Now you actually see an option below that says I don't have internet. Now you can select that. This is just allowing us to get through there without selecting a network. And then select the option continue with limited setup. Now go ahead and name your PC, set your password, and then set your security questions. Then select whatever privacy settings you want, hit next, and then accept. Then it's going to go ahead and reboot itself, and if everything went as planned, it should boot you into your desktop. Now, since I still don't have internet, I have to install my Wi-Fi driver. You're going to go to the USB thumb drive, right click on the DRV Wi-Fi Intel file and hit extract all. Once it's done extracting, go ahead and click on your thumb drive again and you'll see this DRV Wi-Fi Intel file. Double click that, double click UWD, then Windows 64 and installer. You're going to see the wireless setup. You're going to want to double click on that to run it. You might get this pop-up that says the following extensions are blocked. If this happens, just grab both the setup and the wireless setup file and drag it into the extensions folder, and then open extensions and run wireless setup. Now we can hit next. Check the I agree to the terms box and hit install. Now just simply connect to your network to make sure everything went as planned and we can get on the internet. Now just head to the search bar down below and then you want to type in updates and hit check for updates and just download any Windows updates that are needed. You're probably going to have to do a restart when you're all done with this, but we want to make sure Windows is up to date before moving forward. Now this next step is more of a personal preference. I'm not a fan of Microsoft Edge, so what I'm going to do is go and download Google Chrome. I just find a Google Chrome browser to be a lot better, as Microsoft Edge just has a lot of advertising and I just don't really like it. So if you also want Google Chrome, just head in and download Google Chrome browser. You'll go to this website and download and install on your computer. All the steps moving forward will be using Google Chrome, so to make it easier to follow along, I would recommend downloading Google Chrome as well. Then you could just remove the shortcut for Microsoft Edge off of your desktop. Now we're going to want to install the Nvidia Control Panel app. Just head to the search bar down below and type in Nvidia Control Panel. You'll see the Nvidia Control Panel app. Just click on the install on Windows, select the get button, and then it'll automatically install onto your PC. Now you can select open and then hit the agree and continue button. This is the app you'll be using throughout your sim builds, where you can set custom resolutions for your enclosure screen size and then all kinds of other adjustments for video settings if you want to change any of those things. I cover setting up the custom resolution for your enclosure screen size in another video, so be sure to check the channel out for that. Now we want to install the brand new Nvidia app. This was just released. Type in the search bar down below and type in Nvidia app. You should see it pop up. Go ahead and click on that and it'll take you to the install page. Go ahead and download the beta, open the file location, and it should start installing on your system. You're going to hit the agree and continue option, select the game ready driver and hit next. And then you can choose to leave this on or off to optimize games and creative applications, and then the Nvidia overlay. I'm going to check this one off, and you no longer need to log in anymore like the old version, so you can just hit skip to app. Now head down to drivers section and download the latest drivers for your GPU. Just let it run through its process, hit install, and I usually just go with the express installation, and once it's complete, go ahead and close that out. And now you'll have a shortcut to the Nvidia app on your desktop. You can use this to just check in the future if you have driver updates. Just head over to the drivers tab, see what any updates are that you have available, and then you have the graphics tab where you can change out some of the settings for how your GPU and your graphics run. And then finally in the settings tab, you can choose to switch on or off to automatically download drivers. And there's even a shortcut down at the bottom which will take you straight to Nvidia's control panel, making it easier as everything is all in one place now, unlike before where you had to use GeForce and also the Nvidia control panel. Okay, now that Windows is up to date, the first thing I'm going to do is download the Lian L-Connect 3 app so I can set my fan speeds and custom lighting. So if you went with the Lian route, you're going to need to do this as well. I'll put a link to the download in the description down below. Once you have it downloaded, you'll see the little L-Connect 3 icon on your desktop. Go ahead and open that up. And on the System Info tab, you'll see your CPU and your GPU temperatures and clock rates and all that good stuff. But from here, the first thing you want to do is head down to SLV2 fan utility. And you're going to see those 4 runs of fans set up here. I already named mine, but in order to name yours, you're going to want to head down to set quantity of fan. And then you're going to see those 4 runs of fans. Yours won't be named, but you're going to want to identify which run is which and then rename it. You can also unselect and select however many fans are on that run. You can see my AIO, I have 3 selected, and 1 for my rear, 1 for my bottom, and 2 for the side. So in order to identify which one's which, go ahead and just click on that run and you'll see that fan flash inside of your case, which you can then rename it to the appropriate fan it should be. And you're going to repeat this process to identify each run and name it appropriately before moving to the next step where we can customize them. And when you're done, just hit apply and head back to SLV2 fan utility. And now that we have our fans name, we can select a run of fans and set up the fan profile and the lighting effects. I set the fan profile to quiet on all my runs of fans. I found this to offer adequate cooling, and it's one of those things where you don't really want to overthink it, but if you do want to go into it further, you can go to the fan pump profile and you have all different kinds of settings you can set for each run of fans. You can even set custom curves where you can pick when the fan starts and turns on and off. But again, for me, I found quiet to work out really well. The only thing that I did is I turn on the start stop function. This basically just tells it that if the temperature is below 25 degrees to cut the fans off as they don't need to be running. And then I hit apply to all as I want this to be the profile for all the fans in my setup. The next thing you want to do is set the appropriate fan size. I'm running 120 mil for my rear and AIO, but for my bottom and side fans, I upgraded to a 140 mil size. So if you went to a 140, make sure to switch those here as well. And now we can head back to the fan utility to set up our custom lighting. To set up the custom lighting, you want to select the run of fans you want to change the color on. And in the lighting effect dropdown, you can pick your effect that you want to go with. You can see I just changed the rear to a rainbow effect. Now for the AIO, I can go and just pick a static color. And then you can select these color boxes here, and these boxes represent the number of fans. We only have 3, so only the first 3 boxes will really matter in this setup. So you can pick your color above and then select that specific fan. I'll pick orange for this one, and you'll see that top fan turn to orange. And then for the second one, I'll just do like a green, and then I'll make the third fan red. And since we only have 3 fans in this run, you'll notice that these other boxes don't change anything because there is no fan assigned to that position. So feel free to get creative here and go through each run of fans and personalize them the way that you want. I prefer to just go with a simple white route. So basically I'm just going to change one of the runs of fans to white, and then you can just hit apply to all, which will change all the fans if you just want one effect or one color. You also have the quick sync lighting tab where you can change everything all at once. This is a much easier route, but if you want to go custom and do it fan by fan, you can do the option we just covered. Once you have it all set up to your preferences, go ahead and close out and we can move on to the next step. Okay, now we want to install the Corsair IQ software so we can control our lighting effects for our RGB sticks and also our AIO cooler. You're just going to head to the website. I'll put a link to the page down below, and you want to download the IQ app for Windows and install that on your PC. Now that that's installed, you should see the IQ app on your desktop. Go ahead and open that up. And you'll be brought to the home screen where you're going to see your installed Corsair products. I have the AIO cooler and also the Corsair RAM sticks. I'm going to start by opening up the RAM sticks to change the RGB profile. So to change the lighting on our RAM sticks, we're going to open the lighting effects tab. And then from here, you can add whatever effects you want. There's a bunch of different preset options. You'll see color shift, rainbow wave, all types of things. And then you can also use the slider to pick the speed in which that effect goes. In my case, I just like to go with a nice clean white build. So I'm going to switch mine to just a static color and change that to my preference of white. So if you're going to do that too, you're just going to click on static color, select the little color dot, and then slide the graph around to any color you like. Once that's set, you're going to want to head over to the hardware lighting tab. This adjusts the color effects when IQ is not running. I noticed that my RGB lights were on when my computer was asleep. So in order to keep that from happening, what you're going to want to do is just add a static color, and you want to switch that color to black. This will make it so when your computer's asleep, those RGB lights aren't on. If you wanted to have a different color when your computer's asleep or have those on, you can just pick whatever color you like. Once that's set, go ahead and close that out, and now we can adjust our all-in-one cooler effects. Now we can open the lighting effects tab, and the first part for lighting setup, this is if you use the supplied fans with the AIO cooler. I use the Lian leaf fan, so I controlled those through the app that you've seen in the steps prior, but if you pick those fans, then you want to adjust the colors for that here. Now the first thing I'm going to adjust is the ring around the display, so you're going to click the little ring tab, and then from there you can adjust the color of the ring that is surrounding your display. Now just like with the rest of my build, I left everything at like a cool white color, but if you want to adjust it, you have so many options to choose from. You can hit the little plus arrow, and you have preset effects like rainbow, where you can then adjust the speed of the effect. And there's a lot of different presets to choose from, so you can kind of play with this and find what you want for your build. You then have hardware lighting, just like with the RAM sticks. This is what is displayed when IQ is not running. I noticed that this didn't make a difference if I had it on or off when my computer's asleep, so I just set it to the same color that I have for the rest of my build. Now you want to head down to screen setup. This is for the display on the actual LCD screen. There's a bunch of different presets. You have clock, you can leave it blank or put in different temperature readings. For mine, I wanted to do a custom one here, and this is one of the reasons I went with this cooler, so I can do a custom GIF for my golf theme build. If you want to do this as well, just go to custom screen list, hit the plus icon, and then from there you're going to want to select image/GIF. You'll see some pre-installed Corsair images you can use here. You can also hit the plus icon and add your own image if you wanted to put a picture of your family or whatever you want. And if you want GIFs, you're just going to click on the GIF tab. This is where you can upload whatever GIF you want to show on the display. I went with the Tiger Woods fist pump GIF, but you can really put anything you want in this portion. To do that, you just want to head over to Google, and then you're just going to Google whatever you want. I'll just put Tiger Woods GIF here, and then it'll bring up a list in the image files of different GIFs that you can select. You're just going to want to right click on the one you want and then save the image somewhere you can find it easily. Now head back to the IQ software, click on the plus tab, and then locate that image and open that file. It'll automatically upload that file to your LCD display, and from there you can grab the zoom bar and zoom in and move the whole image around so it fits the screen how you want it to. Upload as many GIFs as you want and get creative with the theme you want to go with. Once that's all set up, head over to the hardware screen tab. For the hardware screen, this is what's going to display on the LCD screen when IQ's not running. I did notice that when you reboot your computer, it'll play whatever image you set here, so this is a cool opportunity to set a second image for when your computer's booting. Click on the Image GIF tab, and then you can select either an image or a GIF to show again when your computer's rebooting. This is not necessary, but I thought it was just a cool opportunity to add a second screen. So I put this GIF that I made of me scaring the crap out of my wife. So this is the GIF that displays on my LCD screen when my computer's starting up, and then whenever it boots up, it'll switch to the GIF that I set in the steps prior. The last thing you can do here if you want is go to the device settings where you can check for updates, but this is where you can also adjust the LED brightness. You can adjust the LCD screen brightness if you want it a little bit dimmer, and then also select the LCD screen case color. This isn't that important. This basically just sets it so when you're in your home screen, it displays that it's white since I got a white AIO, but if you got a black AIO, it'll kind of just change that color, but not really a big deal. And you can also rotate your LCD screen display if you need it in a different orientation. And then the last one is for the frame rate. This controls how fast or how slow the video goes. I found 7 frames per second to be perfect for what I'm doing. And that's basically it for IQ. Go ahead and just close it out and we can jump over to the next step. Now we want to go ahead and download the Zotac Firestorm app. I got the Zotac 4070 GPU, so you just want to head to Zotac's page if you got the same one and download the appropriate software for the 40 series GPU and install that on your computer. Now that it's installed, you'll see the Firestorm app on your desktop. Go ahead and open that up. You'll see different tabs located at the bottom. Go ahead and start with the fan tab. Just like the Lian Li fans, you'll see options to set your own custom curves or manual settings. I recommend just going with auto as I've been running this build, and it's been running exceptional temperatures with all different types of softwares. Now we can head over to the Spectra tab. This is where we're going to set our RGB colors on our GPU. So you have a bunch of different options. You have like a breathe effect, you got like a random color, you can just pick different effects just to match the theme of whatever you want to do. So you can kind of play with this and get everything where you want it for your specific build. Then you can just head over to your setting tab and turn off any settings you don't want to run. And then from there you can just close the app. Alright, we are basically almost done. The last thing we want to do is restart your PC and hold down F2 until it boots into the BIOS screen. Just make sure to restart it and just keep holding F2 down until it launches the BIOS. Basically what we're doing in this step is enabling XMP to unlock the full power of our RAM sticks. The RAM sticks I installed are capable of 6000 megahertz, but you can see they're being bottlenecked down to 4800 megahertz here. So to unlock their full potential, we're going to want to enable XMP and then hit save and exit or press F10. You'll be brought to this screen where you're going to want to select OK, and then when the computer reboots to the Asus logo, hold down F2 to relaunch the BIOS. If everything went as planned, we should see that XMP is now enabled, and under the information tab, you'll see that the memory shows DDR5 6000 megahertz. Now we can press F10 to save and exit, and it's going to pop up this screen, and just go ahead and hit OK. And you are now all set up. Your PC will reboot back to your desktop, and you can move forward with installing any software you want and start playing some golf. And that is all it for the video. Guys, I really hope you found this video helpful and you got through the whole process without any issues. If you have any additional questions, please comment them down below or reach out to us at pixelgolfco.com, where we offer free consultation and we'll do our best to help you out. Also, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out as these videos take a ton of time to set up and do all the editing, so I'd really appreciate it. We'll see you guys on the next one.